that's continuing to expand, and part of a galaxy and part of several galaxies that billions of light years apart from each other. And so it's like, well, we're here, but as the sanctuary of love progresses, more and more people get a chance to tap into that universal presence and experience what the true essence of God is in all of us. Okay. So here's how the evening's going to go. Ian is our Mozart. He plays all of the melody. We're going to start off with a hypnosis session. It's a guided hypnosis session. I'm a certified hypnotherapist. I have been for about 8 years now. And my main intention of hypnotizing people is to give them the opportunity to bypass their subconscious blocks. From the age of 0 to 8 years old, we were programmed with without our permission, by our peers, our surroundings, our parents, the impact that life has had on us, and we didn't ask for any of that, So after we begin to develop our logic, our reasoning, and our decision-making power, 90% of our subconscious programming is already set in place, and therein lies our experience of life until we discover our consciousness. And once we acquire that, it's just a practice of utilizing that. It's just like a muscle. And sometimes our conscious thought doesn't lead to subconscious reprogramming, because our subconscious is there to protect us. It's there to allow for us to exist as human beings. So as good as it is for us, it's as challenging as it is to change or alter things as we see necessary. So hypnosis, it opens up a channel to put you into a transient state, which is like right before you go to bed, right before you enter into your dream state. Your critical mind starts to break down, and all of the conscious communication seeps into your subconscious mind, and that's how we start to move things around. Okay. So tonight's intention is about raising the vibrations of life, raising the vibrations of love, raising the vibrations, just period. Because love is life is love. God is love, God is life, we are God. So when we're able to raise the vibration, then that means that we have a chance to live a life that we want. But there's nowhere to raise a vibration if we're not low to begin with, right? So a lot of us have challenges, and a lot of us have had challenges in this past 30-day period since our last Sanctuary of Love experience, or since the last time I've seen you, And I'll tell you this much, every time that I set an intention for the Sanctuary of Love, I experience massive waves of what the intention is. So this entire time period that we created Raising Vibration, I've had to continuously raise my vibration throughout this 30-day period, and it's been a unique experience, because when you offer something, but you don't really know what it is to go through what it is you're offering, it's almost like, well, you don't really understand. And I feel that the universe always gives me an opportunity to truly understand whatever the intention is of the evening, so I can come from a place of understanding and not from a place of teaching. This is a gathering here. This is the Sanctuary of Love. So love is a full body. So everything that you are is a contribution to this experience. Okay, so with that, after the hypnosis, and we're going to talk about the experience of the hypnosis, you'll have an opportunity to share your experience and what you experienced. And then we'll read a chapter from the New Book of Moses, which is a book that I've written. It was inspired by the mastery of love, and also my journey through self-love. So we'll read a chapter from that, and then we'll discuss that. And then after that, we'll get into the human connection experience. Human connection experience is where you sit across from each other. One person will sit across from another person, and they'll just get connected with that individual. They'll look at each other in the eyes, they'll repeat the statement, they'll repeat the statement 3 times, and then we'll do that for about 6 minutes, and it's a really beautiful connection experience. All right? Anybody have any questions about anything? No? All right, cool. I see a few new faces. What's your name?
Nadia.
Nadia? Did Lawrence J invite you? Okay. All right. Cool. Cool. All right. All right. And then you're a new face to a lot of people here, but not to me. So.
I'm Susan, Johnny's mom.
Johnny's mom. But yeah, when he said that you were coming, I was so excited.
Thank you.
You know, so I'm really happy to see you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And then Zion hasn't been here in a minute. What? 6 months, 7 months, something like that.
Yeah, 6 or 7.
And then you bring like all your friends with you. I'm like, whoa! I had no idea, man. He's like, I'm bringing Burning Man with me, bro.
Yeah.
Man, I love you. You know that. Yeah, man. Well, welcome, guys. I hope your experience here is one to remember. And then you're a new face to everyone here, but we've been friends for a while. So feel free to introduce yourself.
I'm Melissa. Everyone.
And everybody. Oh, and you're a new face here. Not to me, but introduce yourself too.
Kara. Hey.
There you go. There you go. Wait, what's Spider-Man doing here? I didn't know he just showed up. Man, that's so cool. I was hoping Storm would come with you. Wait, no, never mind. So, all right, cool. So let's get into it. Let's see. Basically, what I want for you to do is just find something that you can focus on. Okay. Hypnosis isn't something where it's like you're just gonna get like knocked out, or you're not gonna know what's happening or what have you. You're gonna be completely aware of everything that's going on. Some of you may feel like you're going in deeper than others. Some of you may be all up in your head and saying, "Oh, nothing's happening to me." Like, all of that is fine. Okay, there is no ultimate arrival for us to get to when it comes to hypnosis, okay? But the first step that you want to do is just focus on anything. It could be my necklace, it can be any of these candles, it could be a spot on the ceiling, a spot on the floor, the back of someone's head. It doesn't matter, okay? Just focus on something. And then once you find that thing to focus on, just start to breathe normally. And just taking a few deep breaths, and just focus on whatever it is that you're choosing to focus on. And you know, this is part of the power of life. It's part of being accountable for the fact that you are God. It's the power of choice. The Infinite gave us that ability to choose, to utilize our consciousness and to choose. So just pick a spot and focus on that and breathe. And any noises that you may hear, or any interruptions that may happen, any movement, anything, will just allow for you to focus and tune in on your breathing even more. And keep in mind, there is no place to arrive to. Just pick a spot and focus and breathe. It's very natural. In a moment, I'll ask for you to just put your left hand on your left lap with your hand facing upwards. Go ahead and do that now. As you're focusing on whatever it is you're focusing on, just put your left hand on your left lap facing upwards. And that's your receiving hand. As a human being, we receive with our left and we give with our right. That's what they say anyways. And in a moment you'll notice that on your middle finger, at the tip of your middle finger, you'll feel a little vibration. Just focusing on that spot, wherever it is you're focusing on. You'll feel a little movement in your middle finger. And when you begin to feel that movement in your middle finger, just nod your head for me. Just focusing on your breathing. You'll begin to notice that your lips will start to get a little dry, and your tongue may begin to get a little dry. And it'll give you the sudden urge to want to swallow. Dirty minds over there. Hypnosis is fun. There is no serious aspect. There is no funny aspect. It just is. When you have the sudden urge to want to swallow, just nod your head for me. You'll notice that your breathing will begin to get a little deeper. When your breathing begins to get a little deeper, just nod your head for me. I want for you to imagine that there's a little string that's being tied around your middle finger, and it's attached to a balloon. And the balloon can be any color that you choose. It could be red, blue, green, white, pink, purple. But that balloon has a lot of helium in it. And as it's tying around the string is tied around your finger, that balloon, the helium is getting bigger and it's filling up more and more. You'll begin to feel that balloon just rise. You begin to feel your finger just rising and getting lighter and lighter. Lighter and lighter. Lighter and lighter. Lighter and lighter. And that finger will continue to move and jolt. You'll feel a little sudden movement of a tugging, like upward tugging, and it'll get lighter and lighter as the balloon gets bigger and bigger, filling up with even more helium. And you'll begin to feel the sensation that your hand is rising. The balloon's continuing to get bigger and bigger, and your hands will begin to feel lighter and lighter. Lifting and tugging, lifting and tugging. In a moment, I'm going to count down from 11 all the way down to 0. And when I get down to 0, for those of you who are still focused on the spot, you'll notice that your eyes will begin to get a little heavier. With each breath that you take in, your eyes will continue to get heavier and heavier. Heavier and heavier. And you'll begin to feel your eyelids flutter a little bit. You'll begin to feel the eyes underneath your eyelids begin to flutter a little bit. Just a little fluttering sort of a sensation. When you begin to feel the fluttering sensation or your eyes moving underneath your eyelids, nod your head for me. Your eyelids will continue to get heavier and heavier. Heavier and heavier. The balloon's getting bigger and bigger. And your hands are getting lighter and lighter. Lighter and lighter. Your eyelids are getting heavier and heavier. We count down from 11 all the way down to 0. 11. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. That takes place, your eyes continue to get heavier and heavier. 0. Now I'll count you down from 5 all the way down to 0. And when we reach 0, you'll enter into a state of relaxation. And with your permission, you'll enter into a deep sleep. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. 0. Deep sleep. Each and every time I suggest the words deep sleep to you, enter into this state quickly, calmly, and easily, going even deeper. Even deeper. Even deeper. Just imagine for a moment that you're sitting at the top of a cloud, and underneath you, you can feel the softness, you can feel the lightness, you can feel the fluffiness, you can feel how gentle everything is around you. You can feel your body melting and settling. Even deeper. Each breath that you take now, you'll continue to enter even deeper. Deep sleep. Just allowing for your body to relax and rejuvenate. You may notice that you want to just lay down or spread out or lean next to the person next to you. Whatever it is that your body allows for you to do. Going even deeper. Just imagine that you're in this cloud. And the cloud is just surrounding you. And you can see the sun and the blue sky above you. And you can feel the warmth of the sky above you. And you can hear the sounds of the wind passing you by. And all of a sudden, a warm sensation comes over you. As if you're standing underneath a warm waterfall up against a mountain with birds flying all around you. You can see rainbows in the mist. And you can feel the mist on your face. And you can smell the beautiful flowers that surround you. That's the feeling, the warmth that's starting to shower your forehead now. As you begin to relax and release, starting from the forehead, moving all the way down the back of your head, moving all the way down your neck, and rotating up through your cheekbones, and coming down through your mouth and up through your nose and around your eyebrows, around your ears. Just relaxing and releasing as we go even deeper. Relaxing and releasing now, moving down biceps and your triceps. Relaxing your rotator cuffs and your shoulders. Literally feel each ligament relaxing and releasing. All the way down your back and around your hip area. All the way down your legs, relaxing and releasing. Sending that energy all the way down your calf muscles, your shins, your ankles, relaxing and releasing. You'll begin to feel a sudden sensation in your toes. That vibrating sensation is the indicator that the energy will move all the way back up through your body. Moving it on to your heart and around your stomach, energizing your soul. Relaxing and releasing as we go even deeper. Allowing for any energy that you need to push on through your body and out through your fingers and out through your toes. Just allowing for it to be released right now in this moment. And in your mind, taking any thoughts that may be passing on through, allowing for them to drift away. Like a little feather in the wind. Imagine yourself blowing the thought away and just letting it go into the air. Drifting even further and further and further until there's nothing. Because in nothing we have the power to create. In your mind, I want for you to imagine yourself now getting together. Allowing for yourself to go for a walk on a road to nowhere. Just look at the bottom of the floor, see what's on the ground in front of you, see what's around you, see what there is to look at and observe. Feel the essence of the room around you, the environment around you, the space around you. As you inhale, you can smell the surrounding area around you. Just get immersed in this journey. And each step that you take in this journey is a step that will allow for you to energize your body, your soul, your mind. And just as any moment, whether or not you're here or not here, go for a walk, to do. There's always a destination in mind when we take action in this world. For many of us. And for some of us, there's the freedom to be. But for all of us at this point, in your mind, it's your creation, so you have the freedom to be. So take a step. Take another step. What's around you? What are you feeling? What are you smelling? What are you hearing? Are you able to fly? Are you able to run faster than you've ever ran before? Are you able to feel grounded? What are you feeling? What are you seeing? And what can you create? We go even deeper, allowing for the vibrations of life to elevate, to evolve into a higher level of frequency, allowing for joy and happiness, peace of mind and harmony, melodies, smells, tastes. We're all rising now, elevating frequencies and vibrations. With each step that you take, you'll begin to feel a higher vibration of self. You'll notice that your back may begin to get a little straighter. You'll notice that your head may begin to rise. You'll notice that your heart will begin to feel at ease, and maybe even excitement will surround your soul. What you are noticing now is how to tap into a frequency. Tuning your radio station to the frequency that you choose. you. 17, 16, 15, 14. What are you doing? 13, 12. Who are you being? 11, 10, 9, 8. What are you up to? 7. What are you standing for? 6, 5, 4. What are you letting go of? 3, 2, 1, and 0. Get completely connected to you. The power of you, the essence of you, the becoming of you. When I count you out from 0 all the way to 5, you'll begin to feel an essence of life running through your veins, an essence of life running through your heart, an essence of life running through your lungs, an essence of life being experienced through your eyes and through your ears, an essence of life. Your vibration of life will continue to rise, and you'll feel this excitement and this joy of being free to create you, raising the vibrations in any moment, in any time, choosing not to be stuck in a certain lane, in a certain mold, being accountable for the essence of your life. Starting at 0, which is always the deepest form of hypnosis, becoming present to your surroundings at 1, 2, locking in your subconscious programming from this experience, 3, taking in a deep breath, becoming aware of your surroundings, 4, and 5, eyes wide open, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, eyes wide open, wide awake, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, eyes wide open, wide awake. Everybody stretch, let come through your body, take a deep breath, and exhale. Welcome back. That was beautiful, Ian. That was beautiful, May. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
How was everyone? Yeah? Great. I know Melissa was over there like, oh my God, what's going on? Isn't bad, right?
Now we're trying to rewind.
I can feel you, man. I can feel you. Feel you. Alright, so, well, who wants to share their experience? We'll all go at the same time.
I would like to share part of my experience.
Go ahead.
I was focused on the candle just to the left of you, or my left. And I've meditated plenty of times, but I've never meditated with my eyes open, I just realized. And that was really crazy to experience. Just like, it was like my eyes, I don't know if they were closing or not, but like, it was like my vision was getting blurry, and just like the way that the light was like being filtered, I don't know, it was really crazy. It was like I was dreaming, I don't know, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Dreaming with my eyes open.
That's super cool. Yeah, I find it very important to start off the induction with your eyes open, because believe it or not, our sight doesn't necessarily have to bring in communication of consciousness. So, you know, when you're even when you're asleep, your eyes can be wide open and you're not seeing one thing, right? So it's kind of like that. That's really like a true test of if you're, you know, going into state. So that's awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Anybody else want to share?
Sure.
Okay.
It was interesting when you were talking about the part with the clouds, because I just got off a plane a couple of days ago.
Okay.
And I was in a very similar state of what you were painting. And I just like grabbed that and then put it in with this.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting up there. You know what I mean? Like I was there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was just cool to just be in this very, very blissful state. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With complete unattachment to anything, thoughts, energy, anything. And then just being there.
Yep.
It was dope.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. One thing that I've realized about consciousness is there's no need to separate dream from reality. You know, our minds don't do it when we sleep. I always bring mention to the fact that we can wake up out of a dream and have all the experiences from that dream in the moment that we wake up, and it can literally stay with us.
Can I say something?
Yeah, please.
Like before I came here, I took like a nap at home, like 20 minutes, and I literally dreamt of balloons.
Oh my god!
And like, you tell my balloons, you know?
Yeah.
So it just goes with what you just said.
Yeah. So literally 20 minutes, you entered into a dream state, and you had balloons like around you. You were with balloons,
and then
right?
I woke up because they were like, I don't know, it was like a mirror, like this, but like standing, and then the balloons were on top of it, 3 or 4, pink and nude color.
See?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, where does that come from? You know, where does that come from? It comes from our consciousness, from our subconscious, from our minds, from our experience, from energy. You know, like we'll go to sleep and we don't have any idea what the hell we're gonna dream about, right? But it just happens. So it's like it's kind of like life. Like it just happens. We're just walking down the street, and next thing you know, we meet somebody we fall in love with or something like that. Like, where did that come from? We weren't waking up, and you know what I'm saying? It's just like life, right? So it's the same thing in dream state. You know, you go to sleep and you don't know what to expect. But who says that that there's any separation between dream and reality, right? So, you want to share what you felt? Mama, go ahead. I'm listening. Yeah.
Oh. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That was very beautiful. And Ian, the music was perfect.
Oh,
my God. So, I'm listening to your voice, and you said to relax I could just feel like my shoulders go boom. Right?
Yeah.
And I was like, thank you for that.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, walk on this path. And I went immediately to Harbin Hot Springs. It's beautiful, you know where it is. These acres and acres of just God's space on earth. And there's the path, and I went, okay, I know where this one goes. Go to another one. And I'm walking, and then all of a sudden I'm like kind of going up in the air.
Yeah.
And I'm flying.
Yeah.
And then I'm dancing in this field.
Oh my
And
God.
then I go into the water.
Oh man.
And when you said to see the next person, I knew it was me, and we're going to be swimming. We're just having a great time.
Oh my God.
Having so much fun. Oh my God, it was beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes. Awesome. Awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. it's so important, right? To just be able to give your body the chance to experience true relaxation.
It was like a split second of you can't fly, and then it was like, yes, I can.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. Seriously, because you can. You can. We can do anything in our life. Anybody else before we go on to the next experience? What you guys over there? Anybody over there?
Yeah. I mean, I've done a lot of personal meditation and only a few guided, but it's like weird how certain times, right before I was like, man, my throat's getting like, and then you'll feel your throat, and I was like already like right there, and it was like a couple times like I was buzzing, my eyes were tickling me, and then you're like, yeah, and you may feel like butterflies, and I was like, oh, it made me want to like just start laughing, because in my head I was already like, certain things were already like peaking at that point for yourself.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome.
I will say this though, it wasn't my middle finger feeling the vibration, it was my index.
Okay.
Yeah, like it was, I don't know if that was like kind of like a weird thing right there.
That's cool. It was going up in there somewhere.
I was feeling the message for sure.
That's awesome. That's awesome. How many of you actually felt it in your middle finger, though? Yeah? Cool. Cool. You didn't feel it? No? All right. Shane would be up there just staring at me. He's like, okay, what are we doing? I love it. I love it. All right, cool. So we're going to go ahead and just read a chapter. Anybody else have anything they want to share? No? All right. Cool. I'm going to read a quick chapter from the new book of Moses. You know, this book is unreleased, and it's still, in development. So last week, the book title right now is The New Book of Moses, The Undiscovered Truth About Self-Love and the Accountability for the God Within. Okay, so that was the original title.
Like it.
You like it?
I do.
Okay, so I was thinking about changing it to We Are God, The New Book of Moses. What do you guys think about that?
What I like is the full title, and then We Are God.
I love that. So I'm going to use that. See that? It's contribution. I love that. So the full title, The New Book of Moses, Undiscovered Truth About Self-Love and Accountability of God Within.
I'll walk you over there.
We Are God.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. A year just passed by so quick. So quick.
I know, yeah.
I can't believe it's like October the 1st right now.
Too fast.
Unbelievable. All right, let's see. Okay. Okay, so we're going to read from chapter 3. Chapter 3, what we are taught. Let's see. Okay, so this is called What We Are Taught, and I think that it's perfect for tonight's intention, because when we come from a place of raising the vibrations, right? It's like, well, I'm not supposed to feel that way because of X, Y, and Z. You guys follow me with that? It's almost like, well, if something happens, then I'm supposed to feel this way. or if something doesn't happen, then I'm supposed to feel this way, right?
Right. It's like ways of thinking that were given to you instead of you developing them.
Yes, right? So raising vibrations, it's about taking what is innately there and doing something of choice with it. Okay? So, what we are taught, the big lie. Turn on the TV, read a magazine, look at a movie. What do you see about love? We see kissing, we see sexing, we see weddings and honeymoons. We see the walks in the park with a partner. We see laughs and smiles and roses with chocolates. We see red hearts and Cupid angels flying around with harmless arrows. We see all of the things that give us a lofty feeling of satisfaction, joy, and happiness. What they don't show us is those moments of love with the fighting, the arguing, the endless tears at night. They leave out the jealousy and the envy that surmounts after all the getting to know phase is gone. Why do they do that? Why does society set us up for this false expectation of love when it all boils down to heartbreak? They set us up because it's profitable. If society taught us how to love ourselves and to be accountable for our communication and the experience of our God residing inside of our body, then there would be a lot more stable families and a lot less mess to clean up. From the moment we are able to associate with the feeling of love, we are taught to search for it externally. We are taught that if we stand up for love, that we will eventually find someone that can make us happy. Humans will go in search of this happiness till the end of day without ever scratching the surface. Why? Because we're searching in the wrong place. I'm not saying that loving someone else isn't a possibility. What I'm saying is that the way that we are being shown how to love is causing more isolation than successful relationships. They teach us that loneliness is a horrible thing, that spending time with yourself means that nobody loves you or wants to be with you. They show us the only way to love is if you have someone to share love with. What they fail to mention is that we are self-contained, that we are able to love ourselves just as much, if not better, than anyone can love us. We aren't taught that reading a good book by ourselves by our fireplace late at night is an expression of love that most human beings choose not to associate with. We aren't told that going for a drive to the beach, listening to our favorite song, to wind up by the water, manifesting our lives through meditation is an expression of love. We aren't taught that waking up in the morning to make ourselves a healthy breakfast, then to go work out and develop our bodies to handle the journey of life is an expression of love. They fail to mention that masturbating when you have the urge to have sex is an expression of love for yourself. They fail to mention that choosing to maintain a peace of mind throughout life's up and downs is an expression of love. They don't show that in the romance novels or love stories. So we end up searching for it in kisses and hugs and external attention. Then once that wears off, we blame the other person for our lack of feeling love. As a culture, it is important for us to recreate the dynamic of this failed format that we continuously find ourselves getting trapped in. None of what we deal with in the realm of love these days works. People are being left heartbroken. Families are being destroyed. Lives are being lost. Love isn't easily obtained. We have to work for it. We have to strive to achieve the experience of the source. Tap into your soul. Get connected to the universal presence of love so that you can have a chance at experiencing love on a higher level of consciousness. The belief that love can only be experienced through interacting with someone else will lead us to misery. But the belief that love can be experienced on our own will lead to freedom. Imagine experiencing a love without jealousy, without control, without barriers, without judgment, without ridicule, with peace, with joy, with happiness, with understanding. The only way to achieve this level of love consistently is if you remove the need to love someone else and enjoy the experience of interacting with human beings while truly loving yourself. You will feel a sense of love you have never experienced before. We can all have this level of love. Jesus spoke about it while he spent time here with us on earth. He said, "Love thy neighbors as thyself." The instruction wasn't to love thy neighbor. Basically, if you look at the word, it simply says that if you don't love yourself, then you don't love your neighbor. You must love yourself first, and then you can love your neighbor. That's it. What did you guys hear from that? So spicy.
Time to save the day.
Man, I love that.
That's your answer.
He always comes with them, man. Like, perfect every time. Wow. All right. Anybody want to share what they got from that?
It's like to inspire the inspiration. You know, in yourself, in life, you have to water the plant, but you're the plant, so you have to inspire the inspiration on a consistent basis,
Yeah.
every moment by every moment.
That's true. That's true. You know, I was making a joke the other day. I said, you know, when you're on a plane, they don't say, even if mother and child, they don't say put the air mask on your child before you put it on yourself. It's like, you know, put it on yourself first and then put it on your child.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's as simple as that.
Same concept.
Same exact concept. You know, how many of you actually experienced that though? How many of you experience the idea that loving someone is the only way to experience love? Have you experienced that in your life?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I think the majority of the people on the planet, like you're saying, from those the way that we've been taught,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's you have to love somebody else, and somebody else has to love you,
Mm-hmm.
and so your words are in good timing because I think people are ready to hear them, you know, to realize it's okay to touch yourself. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
You know, like you say, to love yourself first.
Yeah. What do you think is like the biggest challenge when it comes to that concept being lived out in real life?
There's so much influence of what's already going on that even if you get a little bit of momentum,
Mm-hmm.
if you stop, you get overwhelmed by it again.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's normal to think that way again. So it's a constant practice that you have to stay with.
Yep.
Maybe like
And they're selling it all over the place, like you said, in the movies, in the books.
Yeah.
They're selling the distraction instead of the internal work that needs to happen.
But they're teaching it too. Like, they're just flat out, you know, the way everything is set up is it's a system. So you get all these ads and everything around you that's telling you this system, but it's also like in our groups, like years and years of people doing it. Your parents did it,
Right.
you know, kids are doing it now, grandparents did it. And that's, I think, the education level is the hardest part.
Yeah.
You know, it needs to be presented in a different way.
Right.
I mean, a big jump, but it's like something like rape needs to be presented as something like cannibalism. You need to present love as yourself first versus everything else. They put everything else before you. Everything else is, oh, you gotta have this person, you gotta have that. You need to have your love for your father, you need to have love for your mother, you need to have all these things, but it's like you said, you can't love your neighbor as much as you love yourself, so, you know, it's that mutual. Everyone's always there like, you need this, you need that, and you need that. And it just keeps reinforced. I don't know, it's the endless reinforcement.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those things where, like you said, you start it, get distracted by things, and then you divert back to what you know or what you're familiar with, right? So what do you think can be done for yourself? Like just sitting here listening to this, having gone through, you know, a little hypnosis session and all that stuff, like, what do you think? Yeah.
It just comes down to basically feeling good without any conditions. So, like, just how like what are you doing to cause good feelings inside of you without anything, like without any conditions? I feel like it's just as basic as that.
Yeah.
You know.
It's so funny because like when you say it's as basic as that, right? It's almost like everything that's good to do, it's almost as basic as that, right? But for whatever reason, it's easier to do what we're familiar with that we know may end up destroying ourselves.
But then it's like, I like basic concept because we're just trying to make it so hard. You know what I mean? It's not that hard, it's just we don't know.
Yeah. There's always going to be a challenge, I believe. With anything, with huh?
Forever a challenge.
Forever and ever, right?
Yeah,
it's almost like that just doesn't go away, right?
It doesn't go away.
But it's almost as if there wasn't a challenge, it was something was wrong.
Exactly.
Nothing presents itself just willingly, you know. There's always, oh, here's $1 million. Okay, there's a price to it. There's, you know, something comes along with everything.
So I think that when we become okay with the challenge, that it allows for us to have a freedom to be with the truth of whatever that is. Like for instance, if we find ourselves, you know, okay, always getting heartbroken, always waking up miserable, in a bad attitude, you know, always having to do this or that in order to... You do? I'm glad that you discovered that tonight. I love you, Shaylin. Once you see that, okay, these are the ways that I feel in a moment in time, and then there's consciousness, right? And then there's the idea that my subconscious experience of life is what has me feeling this way, right? But as we all know, our consciousness is a very small percentage of our existence and our experience of life. Okay? It's there clearly as a tool.
Say that again, Moses.
Our consciousness is a very small experience of our experience of life. Because it's there as a tool. See, our subconscious makes up about 90-some-odd% of who we are as a human being, right? It's kind of like there to help us breathe, to digest our food, to have our heartbeat. It's so deeply rooted and ingrained into automation, okay? We could have something happen to us 10 years ago, and then all of a sudden a subconscious thought, because it wasn't your consciousness that brought this memory back to you, but your subconscious thought brings that memory back to you, and now you're in a mood. It's like, what's wrong with you? It's like, oh, it's just, I remember this thing that happened with this person, and oh my God, I'm just so upset about it. It's like, but why? Why are you allowing for yourself currently in the present moment, which is your gift of life, being present right here in this moment, be affected by something that took place 10 years ago, or even 5 days ago, or 10 hours ago, or 20 minutes ago? Right? So the subconscious experience, it's hard to like remove. We found it challenging as human beings to remove a feeling and replace it with a conscious thought. We just found it to be difficult. But I'm encouraging you. Like my hand movement. I'm encouraging you.
He's inspiring the inspiration.
Exactly. You want to come up here? You want to come up here? Come up here. Come up here. I'm encouraging you the same way that you may find it difficult to eat properly when you haven't been eating properly, or to work out if you haven't been working out, or to lift up a certain weight, or run a certain distance, or read a certain book, or pick up a certain language, right? Eventually, it'll become easier. Eventually. But see, it doesn't become easier unless you're applying that effort continuously.
It has to be a practice of life. It is what it is. Every day
So it's
is
what
every
you
moment.
focus on.
What you focus on. It's
Yeah, what you
every moment by
continuously
moment.
allow for your experience to experience.
Exactly, allowing is a good way to say it.
That's really all it is. But see, as we grow as a human being, okay, as we evolve as human beings, we have a choice. We have a choice to allow for our subconsciousness to, make our experience of life what it is, okay? Or we have a choice to allow for our consciousness to alter our experience of life to what we want it to be. But it doesn't happen like that. It can.
It can.
It can, right? It can, right? And I'm believing that as we raise our conscious level, okay, as human beings today, and as we bring more children into this world and their consciousness, and we don't allow for them to feel blocked by what society is trying to teach them, okay, or persuade them is real. And we're like, oh, what did you dream about? Well, how was that dream? Oh, okay, well, what do you want to do today? Okay, well, do that. I don't know. Well, then learn. It's like you have the power to do whatever it is that you want to do. So if we start raising our kids like that, if we start raising our own minds and evolving into that space, it'll become easier to shift an experience of life. It'll become easier to manifest the things that we want. It'll become easier to become what we want. It'll become easier to pick up things and learn it and allow for it to become a part of who we are as a human being. It'll become easier. The same way that whatever it is that you, riding a bike, driving a car, think about it. Think about the first time that you had to drive a car. You remember the first time you stepped into a car and put the key into the ignition and had to put the gear in and press the brake and figure out the timing of pressing the gas and the brake? And you guys remember that? You remember the first? Do anybody know how to drive stick shift here?
That was the first car I ever drove.
Okay, you remember how it was figure out the clutch, the brake, and the pedal? It's like, oh my God. You know what I'm saying? And having to put the thing into gear. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what the hell is this crap, right? But now you step into the car and it's like, you're not even thinking. Your foot's over here in the left hand, your other foot's over here in the right hand.
Got a cell phone, a sandwich.
You got a cell phone over here. You're doing this over here with this. You're looking at the GPS. You're You couldn't do that before. You know what I'm saying? So why would we honestly expect?
You don't even have to think about it anymore.
You don't.
You put it in play for a few times in the beginning, and it goes in automatic, just in consciousness. You say, I want to focus on that.
Look at
There
Ian
it goes.
playing the piano. Look at the keyboard, typing on a keyboard. Look at texting on a screen device. Remember when we went from texting on a keyboard to texting on a flat screen? We're like, what the hell is this crap? I'm never going to be able to do this the same speed that I do on separated keys.
Correction.
Now we're doing it without even looking at it on a flat screen. How in the hell does our finger remember where to go on a flat screen?
Oh my God.
Do so much.
Because you do it so much.
You can apply that to things.
Exactly.
Right.
Do you understand now? Right? So it's the same way with altering your experience of life. It's the same way with manifestation. If we simplify it in the terms of, okay, learning a language, picking up a trade, anything that's tangible. And it takes us so long to learn how to write with the left hand versus a right hand. It takes a while. It takes a while to pick up a language.
That was kind of cool.
That was
It was kind of cool.
yeah,
Because it wasn't me. It's really energy. I'm believing because none of us did that. And that's not even on a dimmer.
Yes.
It's very bad.
wow.
Yeah, the switch and the remote are both right there, right here on this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, see, there's no difference. Okay, so, cool. So, it becomes easier the more you practice it. So how do you practice it? Just like anything else, if you're throwing football, playing basketball, tennis, whatever, you're not going to hit that ball right across the net the first time, or the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. Even when you feel like you've gotten good, you're going to slip up and it's not going to go where you want it to go. That's tangible. That's in front of you. That's with your hands and your eyes, coordination. What makes you think that utilizing universal power and the energy that surrounds us, that's real, that we already know is there, is any easier to get a hold of or to master? What makes us think that? So we have to be patient. We have to be patient, and we have to believe that that is true. Because it is.
It's a full direction change into just focus of one thing, and it just continues until it's automatic, on autopilot.
Yeah.